Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Glambitious virtual experience. I'm excited to bring some dynamic ladies to you. So, we're going to give you a chance to meet each and every one and for them to tell you who they are and what they do. I am Lily Mae, the creator of the Glambitious brand. And so, I'm just excited to have the opportunity to bring this experience to you virtually. Please visit my website, glamceo.com, to learn more about me, as well as visit our social media pages at Glambitious IAM. So first, we're going to start with Miss Dallas. Miss Dallas, if you could just introduce yourself and tell everyone a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Sheree Dallas with Miss Dallas Knows. Born in Mississippi, raised in Louisiana. I live here in Atlanta since 1999. I am a Army veteran. I run multiple businesses. I recently, during COVID-19, just started my own transportation company with trucks through the VA because I'm also a disabled veteran. I am a survivor, and it is an honor to be here.
Thank you so much. And Dr. Jennifer, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Dr. Jennifer Bryant. I am your fire thrower, your igniter. I am a career strategist as well as a award-winning certified coach, as well as a best-selling author and a global speaker. I'm all about transforming your mindset and elevating those who are mid-career to senior levels. I am also a dualpreneur as well. So I'm an executive founder of Reaching Within an Empowerment Journey.
Awesome. And Dr. Tiffany, if you could unmute your line and introduce yourself.
Hi everyone. My name is Dr. Tiffany Zachary. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, board-approved clinical supervisor. I'm here in Lafayette, Louisiana, where I have my own mental health private practice where I offer one-to-one therapy. I'll be opening my group practice soon, which I'm very excited about. I'm also an international bestseller, an author, a mother of my beautiful little 2-year-old London, 2 going on 30. And that's about it right now. Oh, one more thing. I'll be being a professor this fall, which I'm very excited about at the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, congratulations. That's fantastic. And Miss Adriana, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Adriana LaFay. I am a self-published author, dual entrepreneur. I am the author of Trials and Tribulations, also one of several co-authors of the Glambitious Guide to Winning in 2020, and I am a book mentor. Also, I am a Legal Shield consultant where I assist and help people with getting their wills and legal services.
Fantastic. And Miss Charessa, if you could introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Charessa, and I am a social worker. That's my background is in social work. I own the Event Therapy Network, where we bring together the love of mental health as well as business when it comes to event planning. I am the owner of SC Visionary Planning and Production Services, where we produce events that make sense. So, and I'm also an author. I'm an author of the book Event Therapy 10 Steps to Ultimate Event Planning.
Fantastic. So my first question to everyone is really going to be about, how, I guess, the 2 most key steps that help you bring your vision into reality. And so a lot of us are multipreneurs. So if you could think about maybe the one thing that you are most passionate about and tell me just like kind of 2 tips that helped you bring that vision into reality. And we can start with Miss Dallas.
Okay, so my gift is service, and I had to learn that. So when everybody says do what you love and love what you do, I had to incorporate that in my professional lifestyle. And the gift of visualization is one of the 2 keys that help bring me to what I'm doing right now, because I always saw myself just serving on a different level. So what I did was, I've been doing real estate for about 20 years, as well as health and wellness. It really makes me feel so good when I'm able to, when I was doing real estate, I would be able to help someone who had like a 400 credit score. and be able to help them build their credit, to be able to buy a house. And they were so grateful. And it would just give me goosebumps to see someone who just could not imagine themselves doing this one thing. So I also transitioned the same way with the health and wellness. I am a certified coach as well, and I'm a published author. So I did an ebook years ago that just listed all the things you can do just to live a healthier lifestyle. I tell people losing weight doesn't start in the gym, it starts here. Because if you don't believe you can do something, you are absolutely right. So those are the two key things.
Fantastic. And Dr. Tiffany, for you, what are two, important steps that helped you bring your vision into reality?
So for me, it's definitely prayer and seeking God first. Being a licensed clinical social worker, I come from a very complex, toxic family background. I'm a first generation college student. So being the first doctor in my family, statistics would have you see that I would not be living to see 35 in August. So being able to overcome all those struggles, I've always had a passion to help others. And in my practice, I've had the ability to, I'll say 98% of my practice is African-American women, which I'm so proud about. A lot of them are entrepreneurs. A lot of them work in corporate America, and many of them are college students. So being able to help them get through those times, and they could see that as a millennial, which I don't like that term, but as a millennial, that they can get through it too. So praying and seeking God, having a plan, implementing that plan, and lastly, having an accountability partner. Like, that is key in my life. I have to have somebody that can call me on things sometimes, because I'm a good BSer. As you can see, I got a PhD, so I know how to write really well and read really well. So I got to have somebody sometime to keep me on my toes and to call me when I don't feel like it, because every day is not a good day. Every day won't be a good day. So I got to have someone that can hold me accountable, not only for myself and my clients, but for my daughter. So those things are key for me.
Fantastic. And what about you, Dr. Jennifer?
So what I will say is to hold on to your faith, and also to take risk. And part of taking risk is getting out of your own way. But the other part that's made me where I am, because I'm a huge believer of and proponent of visualizing where you want to go. And so I did that in my early 20s and rose to the occasion from being a clerk typist during the day and being a janitor at night, and then elevating to an entrepreneur, as well as an associate director. And with that in mind, I have pushed forward many teams to make them more marketable. I was able to retire before the age of 50 from the federal government. And so the blueprint that I use in terms of visualizing is my vision blueprint, and I'll go through them very quickly. The V is about visualizing where you want to go. The I is about initiating steps and coming up with a plan. The S is for strategizing, looking at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. The I is integrating all your pieces, being intentional and deliberate. And then O is looking for those opportunities that are out there. And then the N is all about taking the next steps and going to get what's yours. So I'm a huge believer of that.
Fantastic. And what about you, Adriana?
Yeah, so the two tips for me basically were fear and trust. Fear that I allowed it to control me and keep me from doing what I wanted to do and what my passion was. And once I got past my fear, I was able to soar. And I'm so glad that I was able to do that. With trust, I had to learn trust in God, that passion that He has given me is not going to allow me to fail. It's going to allow me to learn and to grow. So those are the two keys that I would say it helps me to get to where I am.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Teresa.
Yeah, so mine too are internal reflection. So internal reflection, like understanding and aligning myself with who I am. before even trying to be that giver to everyone else. So internal reflection has definitely been probably the key for me, because that includes the prayer, that includes, spending time with God, and just understanding what he has for me. So internal reflection. The other was just learning my purpose, period. Just learning my purpose. When I began to understand what my purpose was, and what mark I was going to make on this world, I got more clear about what I was going to do in business. So now, even today, I don't even know what, July 5th, I am so much more clear about where I'm going, where I am today, and just my purpose in life, whether it be in business or just myself. So those are the two keys for me: internal reflection, as well as just understanding my purpose.
Fantastic. And the next question I wanted to ask is, how has self-love and spirituality impacted your efforts? And Dr. Tiffany kind of touched on the spiritual part, as did Teresa. So I'm going to ask this specifically to Miss Dallas and Dr. Jennifer. Miss Dallas, if you could start, how has self-love and spirituality impacted your efforts?
Mm-hmm.
Like the breath I breathe, because ministry is my base. Without God, I wouldn't even be here. I've overcome so many adversities and traumas in life that would have taken the regular person out. But because of my relationship with God, and God would always give me direct messages. I was affected at a tender age of between 18 and 22, that I overcame and got out of an abusive relationship. When I went to the United States Army at 18, I went through sexual trauma and basic training, 3 unsuccessful marriages. That would destroy most people's self-esteem. Like, what is wrong with me? Why am I enduring these things? So God showed his love for me. And it was his, and I have goosebumps right now. It was him being able to show me supernaturally in this natural life, just embracing me and reminding me of who I am and whose I am, and explaining to me that my coming through this and being strong enough to be transparent with my story and the things that I've come through is going to be able to change other people's lives. So it was not necessarily about me, but he knew he could use me. So that God loving me so much through all of my bumps in the road, it just really healed every broken piece in me. God just performed surgery on me to be able to mend together every scar that I could possibly imagine.
Wow. And I wanted to ask the same thing to Dr. Jennifer, how has self-love and spirituality impacted your efforts?
So self-love has impacted my efforts through the forgiveness. And I think a lot of times people place fault on themselves, but they have to be graceful. And for me, that's what I had to learn to do. Like Miss Dallas, I had to overcome a lot of trauma. I lost my dad at the age of 5 to a terrible construction accident, followed by the fact that I had to take care of my mom, leaving home at 17 because she threw bullets against my door and threatened to kill me. And so having to survive that, along with sexual assault and 2 different domestic violence, and then losing all my family members suddenly and ending an 18-year marriage. So it caused me to rely heavily on my foundation of being in church, like Miss Dallas said, listening to God's word, and also being very forgiving of myself and understanding that it is not my fault, and ingraining inside of myself every single day with starting off with affirmations and reading a Bible verse, and even, listening to meditation. And also I love massages. So making sure that I take care of myself through massages, taking walks, in other ways, because you cannot exhibit or transfer love to others if you don't learn how to sit with yourself, journal, and love on yourself.
Absolutely. And so I also want to touch on maintaining positive mental health during this uncertain time. So this question I'm going to ask to Dr. Tiffany and Teresa. And so this question is, for people that may be struggling, with maintaining positive mental health and a positive mindset during this crazy time, what would be your advice for them to get out of that rut or get out of that stuck place that they might be in right now? And Dr. Tiffany, I'll start with you.
I would definitely say have some patience with yourself, give yourself grace. This is a pandemic that we're all experiencing for the first time. Many of us have experienced other pandemics depending on how old you are, but this is something not even the federal government knows what to do with. So give yourself some grace. I know a lot of us are going through some financial issues. Some of us have very limited families, so we don't have a lot of help with our children. So make sure, like Dr. Jennifer said, get you some self-care in. I don't care if it's taking 10 minutes out the day to do some meditation, some little buffer sessions, making sure that you have some prayer, have some people to intervene on your behalf if prayer is one of those things that you consider to be important in your life. Make sure that you rest. I have been during this pandemic, I haven't had a vacation yet. So next week I'm taking a vacation. Not saying I won't be working, but I won't have any face-to-face interaction with clients, just so that I can have some time for my mental peace, emotional well-being, because this is very difficult having to go out every day. And not only don't forget your keys, but you got to have your hand sanitizer, your face mask. So it's becoming to be a bit cumbersome and inconvenient. But this is the time that we're living in, so we have to be mindful for not only our own health, but the health of other individuals out there. So get some self-care, some rest, make sure you pray, and have some patience with yourself. Give yourself some grace, because you're not in this by yourself.
Fantastic. And I wanted to ask Teresa the same question.
Go what Dr. Jennifer said and Dr. Tiffany said, because you definitely want to make sure you are patient with yourself. You also want to make sure that you understand that, during this time, you can find the glory in it and look for that glory. You can definitely find time that you are, becoming more aligned with yourself. That rest is so important. Getting that time that you are reflecting on yourself, that you just, relaxing. One of the things that I do every morning is what Dr. Jennifer just said, is affirmations. I speak my affirmation. I speak to myself and I tell myself I'm going to manifest these things in my life. So, during this time, it is hard. It is difficult at times, but I always say, out of everything that that may seem bad, there's something good from it. So what can you be learning about yourself during this time? What can you be learning in business during this time? So just really take the time and be patient and really find things that you can do that's going to be beneficial for your future and just for yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so on the flip side, because I feel like, I've allowed myself to rest a little too much. I got a little lazy, you know what I'm saying? So on the flip side, this next question I'm going to ask to Ms. Dallas and Adriana. And that question is, okay, how do you balance maintaining some productivity while giving yourself grace and giving yourself time to rest, because there's so much going on? But how do you find some motivation? And Ms. Dallas, I've been watching your page. You are in the community, you are active, you are working out, you are eating healthy, you're doing it all. So, I'll start with you and then I'll get down to Adriana. How or what is the advice to people to kind of find that energy and that kickback and that jump back so that you can still get some things done during this time?
For me, the first thing I had to understand is that when the whole nation is shut down, God is moving. Okay. So we all have had that list of things to do that was written down that we needed to go back and revisit. For me, I had to be intentional. I changed what I see by how I see it. So meaning, you can look at the glass half full or half empty. So even though everyone is looking at the pandemic, I'm looking at the opportunity. I'm appreciative of the rest that I have been able to get, because I'll be 50 in a couple of weeks and my skin is looking spectacular. I feel my best, but at the same time, sometimes you just got to set a time, because at the beginning of the pandemic, focusing was an issue for me. So I had to do a couple of things. I picked up a at-home yoga session, taking walks, make sure I get my 20 minutes vitamin D. But we have to be intentional. We have to be disciplined. It's a decision. Whether a man thinks he can or cannot, you are correct. And it's your choice that you take advantage of what is going on to put yourself in a better position, or you let it pass you by. And unfortunately, everybody is not going to prosper and get it during this pandemic. But for those who really have an eye to see and have a relationship with God, I can assure you, it was hard to get up early in the mornings. I wasn't really a morning person. When I tell you, God won't allow me to miss it. I have my clock set for 7 o'clock, telling Alexa to wake me up, but God will wake me up at 6:30, and I'm refreshed. I'm ready to move. So if you ask for it, God will provide the tools for you to be able to be successful, get up and do what you have to do.
Fantastic. And Adriana, what would be your advice for, like overcoming any doubts or feeling stifled in this season to stay productive?
Yeah, so Miss Dallas pretty much took everything I was gonna say. um, but so I mean, I totally agree with her. Before the pandemic, I was already working from home, but for some reason, when that pandemic hit, it hit me. It has still affected me where I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't have the energy to continue working out like I had been, and that corona weight was so real. But what I had to do was just get in my mind. I think somebody said that earlier, it starts in your mind, and that's what I had to do. I had to get in my mind that this is not going to be permanent. And so I started a routine. I wake up in the morning, go to my scripture, pray, and then I go walk my neighborhood for 20, 30 minutes, and I feel so refreshed once I'm done because now I'm on our path. Now I'm back to where I was, and actually a little bit more than what I was doing before. So I would say get in that routine. If it's not working out, or if that's not for you, just find something to where you can stay on the routine, get your mind right, and stay focused.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to ask everyone this question, and it's, how do you plan to make the next 6 months your best 6 months? Because so many people are saying that 2020 is canceled, and I refuse to believe that. So I want to hear from everyone as far as, what your plans are for the next 6 months with your business, with your vision, and we'll start with Miss Dallas.
I am digging my feet in the sand, even though I'm not on a beach. I am being intentional, unapologetic. I am making sure that I set me up, my bloodline, my legacy for the best, regardless of how it looks. No matter the time that we do or do not have left here on this earth, I am going to maximize each moment, each day, and just live my best life ever. And pray that I'm the change that I expect to see in others.
I love that. And I just want to sow this idea into you, Miss Dallas. I think you may need like a group that you lead, like an accountability group, because you're so tapped in and tuned in. It would be nice to be able to hop on a call with you in the morning and you rev me up.
Okay.
Okay. So
Thank you. I received that.
6:30, when God wake you up, we get on the
Right.
phone, me, you, and some others, and you speak into us for the week. Like, this is what we're going to do, because
Right.
everyone isn't where you are with that being tapped in like that, And I think it would be great to have someone that I could call, and it's like 5 of us, and you like, look, ladies, we got a legacy on the line, ladies, like a coach.
Sounds like a plan.
Yes. And Dr. Tiffany, I have the same question to you. How do you plan to make the next 6 months your best 6 months?
Like Ms. Dallas said, being intentional. I'm going to push the glass ceiling. I'm going to step out of my comfort zone on some business things that I would like to accomplish. And like she said, keeping my legacy in mind. I have a daughter, and being a single mom in this day and age is way more difficult than it was before, especially with this pandemic. You have to be careful with being risky. I've always been one to take risks because I had my security blanket, which was my dad, but being that he passed away, I have to be a little bit more selective in what I do and the things that I'm willing to lose and give up. So definitely being intentional, definitely pushing that glass ceiling, because like I said, I'll be 35, so I'm pushing it with a lot of my goals. My plan this year was this year would be my first year going to Essence, even though I live in Louisiana. So I was very excited to do that. This year would have been my first year speaking out of the country. So I'm trying not to get discouraged. I'm still looking forward to next year. a lot of things are canceled for this year, but I'm trying to make it to where I can revamp those things and not lose it. I can still make those collaborations, still network, still get in tune like Miss Dallas is doing, still find women like yourselves to have events like this to inspire people. So just using my gift to continue to do what God has set out for me to do. And like I said, learn to be a better mother. It's not, it is no blue book for this. There's no right or wrong way to do that. So that is definitely one of my things, learning more patience with my daughter, trying to find ways to continue to help her grow and learn, because the world is shut down. So I can't just go to a museum and teach her, this is this and that is that. So trying to find ways to make her life learning still fun. So always remember, ladies, no, whoever is going to listen to this, you're a parent first, your mother, your father first, before business, before anything, you're a parent first.
Absolutely. And Dr. Jennifer, how do you plan to make the next 6 months your best 6 months?
Look, let me tell you, like Miss Dallas, when I turned 50 last year, I was like, this is the best life ever. And so I'm 51, so I'm going to continue to innovate, create, and facilitate different things. Like Dr. Tiffany said, I'm continue push forward with risk, and I'm going to continue recognizing the power of my own voice and recognizing the power of the pause. Lily Mae, you've heard me talk about this before, but for the other panelists, embrace your pause. That P is for presence, for visibility. That A is to keep a positive attitude. The U is for uniqueness, to embrace your talents and skills and bring that to the table and create your own opportunities. That S is relative, but the formula for success is all about credibility, confidence, character, and a positive attitude. And the E is for execution. Go out there and execute in excellence. Take your 80% product to the market and just keep on pushing. That's what I'm going to do.
I love it. Listen, I'm over here trying to come up with an acronym. I'm like, what? M is for, A is for, I'm working on it.
I'm your acronym queen.
I'm over here trying to come up with something. Adriana, how do you plan to make the next 6 months your best 6 months?
Yeah, so basically by staying focused, continuing my focus on what I'm already doing, which is mentoring several authors who are wanting to publish their books. So I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to continue on my fitness journey so that I can reach my goal, not just for the end of the year, but as a lifestyle. And I am also going to continue writing. That was one of the things I had stopped doing with this pandemic when I kind of went in my slump, but I've picked it back up and have set goals for myself of where I want to be by the end of the year, as well as what else I want to be doing come 2021. So I am going to stay focused and keep my eye on the prize and look at the light at the end of the tunnel. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.
I
Right.
love it. And Teresa?
Well, I'm going to be a part of Miss Dallas's accountability group. I'm going to connect with Miss Jennifer, connecting with everybody on here. I think what Miss Dallas said with being intentional is key for me. Is just continue to be intentional, continue on this freedom journey that I'm on. I'm a giver. I have a nonprofit. I give. But one of the things I found, and that's I realized during this pandemic is that in giving, I forgot to give to myself. And so I am on that journey of, just giving more to myself, paying more attention to myself, aligning with myself, and just being more intentional and more just, happy with who I am and, this journey that God has put me on. So that's my next 6 months. And of course, I have several events and all of that I am working on producing each year. I am connecting with people who I never thought I would connect with. And that just comes with me being, just doing it, just unlocking my power and just doing it and not settling, just going for it. So that's where I'm going. I'm going for it the next 6 months. Period.
Absolutely. And I think we all need to definitely embrace that mindset of just going for it. God has given us today. And I think sometimes we get anxiety because we're worried about the future, or we get depression because we haven't gotten over the past. And I think the power is in the present. And so I think, we do have to wake up with that zeal that Miss Dallas has at 6:30 in the morning. Like, I think after he wake you up, then he wake me up a little bit later. God come to my house around 8. So,
you gotta go to sleep at night.
Right.
Correct. Like, maybe if I start going to bed at a reasonable time, I'm gonna get on that 6:30 a.m. list. But I think it's important that we all remember that we do have now, and that we not worry about tomorrow, that we get over yesterday, and we just say, I'm grateful for today, and I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to go for it today. I think that would definitely relieve a lot of us from anxieties, because the anxiety is worrying about what's next, what's coming up, what's not coming up, what's going to happen. And if you just let that go and leave that, I guess, in God's hands, because that's what he's in control over. I think God's job is the future, and our job is today. And so I was working on an acronym, and I came up with this. So I'm happy about this, Dr. Jennifer. I want to impart on everyone during this uncertain season, as you should kind of, really follow this in any season, but it's detrimental in an uncertain season that you keep your eyes on God, right? So there was a story in the Bible, I want to say it was Peter, that was walking on water as long as he kept his eyes on Jesus. And as soon as he got concerned with what was going on around him, he started to sink. And I think, it's important that we keep our eyes on God in this season now more than ever, so that we can maintain a sense of peace, so that we can maintain productivity. And so the acronym I came up with, when you think about, this is 3 letters, GOD, is grace. And so God gives us fresh grace every day. And so we have to give ourselves fresh grace every day. And we have to give the people around us fresh grace. So, when someone doesn't respond to your email right away, give them some grace. Like, it's a lot going on. When you didn't operate yesterday like you wanted to operate, and you weren't as productive, wake up and give yourself fresh grace, because God gives us fresh grace every day. So the O is for obedience. I think we're all called to serve a specific purpose. And so I think it's very important that we be obedient to the word of God. And sometimes we don't even know if it's our idea or if it's God's idea. So how do you hear God's voice more clearly? You stay in your word. You stay listening to sermons that speak to your soul, and listening to gospel music. And that's how you begin to grow more sensitive to God's voice, so that you can be, obedient. And so then the D is just to daily. Like, this is a daily journey. Sometimes we're just so hard on ourselves, and we're so worried about the entire journey. No, this is a daily journey, a daily effort. So just give yourself this day. I think the saying is, this day our daily bread. Like, God is going to provide today. So just worry about today. And so that was my acronym. I don't think it was
Yes,
I love it. I came up with that on the fly.
Powerful.
Thank you. So I do want to let everyone, leave maybe some either last words of wisdom, or if you have an affirmation that you say, or a Bible verse that you like to say to yourself or speak over your life. And also, share your contact information as to how people can connect with you online, or why they should connect with you if you have a coaching program or anything like that. So I'll let everyone weigh in on this. And it's a 2-part thing. I want you to share your contact information, and then maybe like last words of wisdom, or a Bible verse. And we'll start with Miss Dallas.
Okay. So one of my websites is Cherie Dallas. That's CherrieDallas.com. That has all my information about my book, my contact information. My scripture that I live for, that's constantly reminding me of who I am, is Romans 8:31. If God be for me, who could be against me? And with that scripture, it allows me that no matter what I come into, what adversity, what bumps in the road, what closed doors come, I get past it, because if God be for me, who could be against me? That just simply means what's for me, the opportunities, no one can stop it. I can't even stop it. God won't even allow me to delay what he has for me. And for everybody, grace. I mean, that acronym that Lily Mae came up to, grace, is the most important thing. Don't be so hard on yourself, but make sure you're progressing. Even if you don't get as far along in the day of what you wanted to do, If you're starting to work out, you may have said, "Hey, I'm gonna go walk Stone Mountain," but you at least walk a block. It's okay. It's okay. So just love yourself. Be your biggest fan, and don't allow distractions and naysayers to stop your grind.
Fantastic. Dr. Jennifer?
This is what I would say: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. And what I will also say, be graceful, like Dr. Dallas just said, excuse me, Miss Dallas just said,
I receive
and
it.
what Lily Mae said, be graceful to yourself, forgive yourself, do things in phases, ignite your fire, reach within to you to ignite your fire, to live your life unashamed, unapologetically, and confidently. And I can be reached on social media, Reaching Within, as well as Dr. Jennifer Bryant. And my website is www.reachingwithinempowerment.com.
Fantastic. And Dr. Tiffany?
My name is Dr. Tiffany Zachary, and you can reach me on all social media platforms at Dr. Tiffany Zachary. My website is drtiffanyzachary.com. One thing I would like to say is make sure you get back to your personal mission statement. That was one of my assignments for my clients on last week. We get so caught up in our business mission statements. We get so caught up in revenue and staying relevant, but we have to get back to our personal mission statements because that is all intertwined with our purpose and our passion. And without that business, it doesn't even pay to be in business if you lose yourself, because after a while it's no longer fun. You're just becoming a number after a while. So get back to your personal mission statement, and like Albert Einstein said, try not to become a man of success, rather become a man of value. And that is something that I'm proud that my late father was. He was a man of value. He was not he wasn't a famous man. He was very successful within his community, within his church, within work. Everything he did was within excellence. And to many, he was just an average man. But when he died, people spoke of him with words of just, I can't even put an adjective to it. So if anything, I would rather people know me as Tiffany, a woman of value, than you know me as my business. Because of course I'm branded as my business, but I'm a woman of God first.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And Miss Teresa?
Okay, so I can definitely be reached on Instagram, all social media platforms at I am Teresa. On Facebook, my business is SC Visionary Planning and Production Services, so you can find me there. And of course, Event Therapy Network, which is what you see in my background. So that's how you can find me. My website is simplyteresa.com. So the words that I will leave everyone with is I am enough. During the times like this, we simply forget because we are in the hustle and trying to get everything that we do, like everyone said, can find ourselves losing ourselves. So we have to remind ourselves, especially as Black women, that we are enough. We are brown swans, baby, and we are enough no matter what is thrown our way. We are just that strong. So that's something that I tell myself every morning. That's an affirmation for me. And then I will also add this: just live. I think we sometimes forget to simply live because we are trying to get our businesses in order and we are trying to, figure out this and figure out that. But let us live and be happy in it.
Fantastic. And Adriana? Uh-oh, I think Adriana might have froze up on us right at the end. Come back, Adriana. Hopefully she can hear us and wrap up, because she has definitely been involved in a lot of Glambitious efforts, like the co-author of one of our ebooks.
Yeah, so you can reach me on social media at TT Tells It All. And my website is adrianalafay.com. My scripture, I actually have two. So my favorite one is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. And that has helped me a lot. And basically getting rid of that fear that I mentioned about before. If I didn't believe that Christ could get me through it, then there's no way that I could do it on my own. And my other one is actually not a prayer. It's the Serenity Prayer by Reinhold Niebuhr, and it's God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Understanding that I don't have power over the things that I cannot change, and I have to understand that and be okay with that. So those are the two that I'll leave you with today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So thank you all, ladies, for being a part of this. Technology is a tricky thing, but we figured it out and we made it to the end. So I'm very happy, and I appreciate all of you being such, positive beacons of light and positive energies. I like to think my vibe attracts my tribe. So if you ladies are a reflection of me, then I must be doing something right, because I think you all are fantastic. So viewers, please be sure to connect with these ladies. They're all amazing. They all have some different value to bring, and I'm sure you can connect with them and support their businesses. Like I said, please share the link to view this with other ladies. Sometimes we keep, when we find something or we listen to a sermon, we just listen to the sermon and then go about our day. No, share that sermon with 5 ladies, because you never know who needs to be motivated or who needs to hear something. So you can start by sharing this broadcast with at least 5 ladies. So I challenge you to text 5 ladies or email 5 ladies, the link to this broadcast, so that they can be inspired and encouraged during this uncertain season. Like I said, the rest of 2020 is not canceled. I think it's up to you to make the next 6 months your best 6 months, like all of these ladies are. Again, you can visit my website, theglamceo.com, because there are a ton of resources and opportunities available to help you thrive in business. If you're interested in being a speaker, we have those opportunities. If you're interested in writing a book, you can write a book with us. There's so many different things available there. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Glambitious IAM. So thank you, ladies, for tuning in. I just, pray that everyone, not get discouraged in this season, but just know that we're being strengthened in this season. So, don't feel like you're under spiritual attack, because I was almost convinced, like, the devil shall be knocking at my door a lot lately. Like, Lord, get them out the way. But it's like, no, there's no spiritual attack here. I'm just being strengthened by the challenges that I'm facing. And I think that's the case for all of us. So keep that in mind. Keep waking up each day. Keep praying. Keep staying connected with women that are light, that are, God-fearing women. And I promise you, you're going to make it through this year. And I think we're all going to be better for it. So thank you, ladies. Everyone, have a blessed day.
Thank you.